What's going on, my Pausanos? Welcome back to a brand new special video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my recent obsession with the game Marvel Rivals. Now, I'm not really going to get too much into about what I think of the game at this point in time. I'm not going to get into a lot of that stuff, but what I am going to get into is the EOMM. Now, first of all, let me just tell you guys right now. Yes, I am a massive, massive fan of Marvel Rivals. I currently have, I think, about 360 hours in the game, which is absolutely insane for me because honestly, I am not into shooters. I am not into hero shooters. I wasn't really that much into Overwatch and all the other stuff. And to be honest with you guys, I wasn't that much into Marvel. I've always been more of a DC guy. But with that being said, I absolutely love Marvel Rivals. I've gotten to like gold 3. That was my highest rank, but I really don't play rank that much, honestly. And I've gotten like my Psylocke and my Emma to like Lord at this point, and I'm about to get Mantis to Lord. And I love other characters in the game, but this is not going to be a video of me talking about Marvel Rivals. That will definitely be its own video. If you like, basically, if you guys have been seeing me like on Discord or Twitter or Blue Sky, followed me on all that stuff, then you guys already know that I have had this huge obsession with this game for the past couple of months, ever since it's actually come out. Now, with that obsession has come, honestly, me looking into other avenues of the game. Because at one point, I was literally just a casual player of this game. I wasn't really trying to go too hard with the competitive nature of this game. I wasn't really doing all of that stuff. But as I got better and better and better, and mind you, when I started playing this game, I was on my old laptop, which, rest in peace, I keep talking about that thing, but it did die, and I loved that thing, and I was just playing on that thing for the longest time, and just like every other game I've actually played on PC up to that point. But I have since played on that thing. I played on my Steam Deck, and now currently I'm playing with my Steam Deck docked like it was like, and I'm playing it like as if I was actually playing on like a desktop, and I'm using it with my new PC monitor that I actually got for my future build that I'm actually still trying to get actually built up and running and all that stuff. But this is neither here nor there. But I've been through a lot of things with this game. With that being said, I actually wanted to get more into the competitive aspect of Marvel Rivals. And to be honest with you guys, I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm not going to be an expert in a lot of this stuff. I'm not going to be the best person when it comes to knowing about what is what frames and what hit scan is, or who has hit scan, who doesn't have hit scan, or whatever that all stuff is called. I'm not the best person when it actually comes to that. But what I do know is that I wanted to get better with this game. And I was severely disappointed in a couple of different instances. The thing about Marvel Rivals, first of all, is that it actually uses EOMM. I don't know the full acronym or the full like actual name for it, but apparently what it is actually it's basically called engagement matchmaking. This is a thing that some developers actually use in their video games in order to keep people playing. So like if you've been losing in a match, and a whole lot of different matches on your game or whatever, say like Call of Duty or something, right? Just as an example. Well, now you will get put into a match with significantly less level or lower leveled players, or even in Marvel Rivals cases, which is bots. Now, with that being said, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm a very fair and square, skill-based type of guy. I don't want to be based and like put into matches based on how much times I've been winning or how many times I've been losing. I mean, I know the former is kind of weird because obviously if I'm winning, I would actually want to be put into more winnable matches. But the thing about this game is that I've seen multiple people say that this game, like it kind of tries to keep you into like a 50-50 type of deal in terms of how much you win and how much you lose. And just to keep it so that you keep playing. That's the reason why engagement matchmaking actually is a thing, is to keep you playing. And I will tell you guys right now, this game is very addicting, but it's not just because of the fact that it is a pretty fun game, and it really is, but it's also because of the engagement matchmaking. Now, I'm not too subject to this, actually. To be honest with you guys, I'm actually surprised I'm not at like 500 hours at this point in time, because at this point, like, I remember when I first played this game, I played it for like 2-3 hours probably, maybe even sometimes 5 hours a day. And this was really just me just chilling. I wasn't actually like, no lifing the game or whatever, but if I was on my PC and I wasn't making videos and I wasn't talking to my friends or playing games with them, then I was probably going to be playing Marvel Rivals. And it doesn't take a genius to know that there's so many hours in a week, so many hours in a day. You're going to take a little bit of that time to play Marvel Rivals or do something that you like. And that was what I was actually doing. And I loved it. I loved Marvel Rivals for that. But the thing about it is that at the same time, I was noticing that if I was to win like maybe 2 or 3 matches, I would be put into a match where like the people honestly were either noobs or they didn't know what they were doing or something of the sort, and it just bothered the freak out of me. Now, I have actually was able to actually get better at the game to where nowadays I can run like 5 to 7 to maybe sometimes even 8 quick plate matches in a row, which is completely fine. But still at the same time, it gets really, really weird when you get into an actual like game, and then you can see these obvious bots in the freaking player list, and they have like names like John or I'm a boss or some very generic name. And it's like, guys, you're obviously just trying to get me to play the game, but it's already fun as it is. It's kind of the reason why I get so turned off by it, is because why would you make an engagement matchmaking system for this game? Why would you use that when the game is already so goddamn fun to use? You know, I didn't really like your other game, which was Identity V, because it was comparable to Dead by Daylight. That's another video for another day. But at the same time, that was a game that apparently has like the same thing going on, but this is not that game, because this game is miles better than that game, and I probably just pissed a lot of people off, I'm not gonna lie to you. But the point of the matter is that this game is fun enough for me to not even want that. But really what this all came down to was when I started actually playing through, you know, trying to get into competitive mode. First of all, people are very toxic on freaking competitive mode. It is ridiculous how many people will call you trash or install the game, or even because even with like the language filter on the chat or whatever, they'll like find little ways around that to insult you in the most heinous of ways. But nothing compared to, as we all know, the Xbox Live days where it was so bad. But some of these people are super disrespectful, and it makes me really question why these people take this game like that seriously enough to where they say things that they probably would never say to my face. But even aside from that, you know, the game itself, it does have the engagement matchmaking as well, because you'll be with some, you know, decent players, right? And they'll know what they're doing, and then you'll win. You'll basically sweep the other team, and it's like, man, were those guys bots or something? And then the next game, you get steamrolled by people you probably shouldn't even be playing with, or your teammates are just all over the place, and it's ridiculous. Now, this is actually where I kind of have to give games like Overwatch a run, not a run for this money, but an actual, like an actual like good kudos to, right? Now, I don't play Overwatch all that much. I just started playing it. That's another video for another day. But at the same time, I freaking understand, and I love the fact that, you know, Overwatch itself is very much more competitive and all that stuff. Now, do I really like the fact that it's just complete competitive modes? Because like the first thing I actually, you know, saw when I actually launched that game, I saw, hey guys, you should probably do competitive, dude, because you'll go up the ranks and whatever, because you'll play the game more. Now, do I really want that shoved in my face? No, I don't. But at this, but at the same time, like I do like the fact that at least the actual game is actually based on skill. This was probably, all of this stuff was actually like given, like I was actually made aware of this like months ago, like probably back in like April or something like that, maybe March. And when I found this out, and I was honestly so dissuaded from playing the game, knowing that the game was so rigged, basically. You know, that's basically what this all comes down to. The game is basically rigged for you to either win or you to lose. And that's very disheartening for someone like me who does like to be competitive. And if I like this game this much to actually play this many hours, because this is actually the second most played game on Steam for me. This is behind Gary's Mod. And the only reason why Gary's Mod has like 1,000 hours for me is because I've had that game ever since I was 10 years old, all the way back in 2011, okay? That game is insane. But the freaking next game behind that is a game that only came out 6 months ago. It's insane. It's even more. I played this game more than Danganronpa, Grand Theft Auto, and all these other games, and even maybe even Fortnite at this point. It's insane how much I love this game. But I was so dissuaded when I found out about what happened with engagement matchmaking, or what that basically entails for the game and how you're actually set up in matches. I was actually really considering like actually stopping to play the game at that point, because I'm just like, what is the point of me playing this game if I know everything is rigged? I'm gonna keep losing because I suck, but then the game's gonna say, oh, no, you're a winner. Everybody's a winner. That's not how it's supposed to work. And then, of course, I kept playing the game because honestly, like I said, this was back when I was not really able to get like a couple matches like wins. Like I wasn't able to get like a couple matches win in a row. But nowadays, I'm really putting into question that maybe it might be possible to, actually make it so that the engagement matchmaking doesn't affect you all that much. Because again, I was able to win like 7 to 8 matches like in a row, and this happened multiple different times. And now I'm thinking to myself, okay, is it possible to maybe play the game so good that the engagement matchmaking system actually doesn't matter? And that is when I got really confused. But hey, this actually might have incited people to actually stop playing the game in general, because as we already know, this game has had a huge player drop in the last couple of months, and it's not so normal because lots of games are like this. Like when they're online, the first couple of months it's like a huge boom with players, but as the time goes on, they actually start to drop off, and that's usually how these games actually usually go. But Marvel Rivals was significantly bad in this regard, and I've heard that like a lot, like 80% players or whatever, dropped off of the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was because of the engagement matchmaking and a whole lot of other things. And also, some people just stopped playing the game because they just got other things to play, or maybe they're just not that interested in the game anymore. It happens, right? I've also heard stuff like NetEase is not too keen on like letting games like this last. Apparently, they're not really that good about making games they didn't think it's some rumor going around that they didn't know this game was going to last this long, and they're usually not that good with like keeping games like this alive or all this other crazy stuff. But with all that being said, I still kept playing the game, and I still play it to this very day. And season 3 literally just dropped. And because of the fact that, well, first of all, I am a gooner and I love Emma Frost and all that stuff. I did get the gold Emma Frost skin. I was able to actually rank up to gold. It wasn't actually that bad. Once you get past the weirdly toxic people who have nothing to do in their lives, and the weird inconsistent like matchmaking, and then the frustration, which it is really frustrating actually. I don't know why, but I actually got most of my wins when I was actually solo queuing, which is pretty much sin. I've heard, that's like, oh my god, you're gonna solo queue on this game. And yes, most of my wins actually did come from solo queuing, which is kind of crazy. Or solo quetching, I mean. But with that being said, I still love the game so much to the point where I think engagement matchmaking doesn't really matter for me. And some people will probably try to like, say like, oh man, I think more, basically NetEase. They're trying to make it so that they're trying to like, they're really trying to go for the casual crowd. They're not trying to go for the competitive crowd. And I've heard some of these arguments, and I'm just thinking to myself like, maybe that actually might be true. And if that's necessarily a bad thing, time will probably tell with that one. Personally, for me speaking, if you guys want to know my opinion, I think that's a bad thing. I used to think that was probably maybe a good thing because, let's face it, guys, there's a lot more casual players when it comes to video games than people who are just, wanting to play the game competitively. There's just a lot more people that just want to have fun with the video game and just be done with it and not care about all this matchmaking nonsense, right? But with that being said, I do feel like there still can be an avenue for both people who actually want to stay engaged with this game. Quick play should really just be something like called like casual match or something. And then there should also be a mode just for competitive, like how we have it right now. And these two modes should have different like kind of matchmaking system. Now, I know if as much as I would love for them to completely take out engagement matchmaking, this might not be possible. Or really it is, but I'm just saying it just may not be plausible is what I really mean to say. It's definitely possible. Like who would say that? But are they going to do that? I don't know. But considering this is a video game company, they like to make money. So with that being said, I think personally what they should do is maybe keep engagement matchmaking for casual or quick match. And if you want to have something that is not like EOMM or whatever you call it, then just play competitive. That's if you want to do that. If you want to do that. Now I've heard some people say that like, oh well, a couple months ago they said, well now we're actually gonna skill you based on your skill. You're gonna be placed in matches based on your skill and stuff. And I don't believe it. You know, I want to see it. I will never believe it till I see it, right? And because I haven't seen that personally for me yet, which is very unfortunate. But hey, if they actually go on ahead and did that, or they did that already, or if they're gonna do that, whatever, all the power to them. I just want to make this video because I see a lot of people like talking about Marvel Rivals online. I don't really watch a lot of Marvel Rivals videos, to be perfectly real with you guys, because a lot of people online are just kind of regurgitating the most generic stuff. But I hope that this video could actually come from a guy who, like I said, not really into shooters, not really into hero shooters, not really into Marvel as much as I probably should be, although I probably have changed that in the past couple of months. But as someone who is in love with the game, has so many hours of the game, and loves both the casual and the competitive side of this game, and like I said, I'm a gooner, and I played this game so much for Emma Frost and Psylocke and all this stuff. But yeah, with that being said, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a weird comeback for me. I just wanted to make a video just like normal as I used to make. I didn't really make it. I didn't really want it to be this long. But if you guys actually made it to the end of this video, put a hashtag of Rivals Marvel. I couldn't think of anything. I just do Marvel Rivals if you made it to the end of this video, because I will know exactly who made it to the end of this video and watched and was really interested in the video, and I really do appreciate you guys the most. But with that being said, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. More videos coming soon. If you guys actually want me to talk about more about Marvel Rivals, let me know in the section down below, as well as let me know what you guys think of Marvel Rivals from your own personal opinion. With that being said, guys, like this video if you like this video, subscribe if you want to see more, and with that being said, guys, Johnny.